Alright everybody, I'm going to do a painting today of a barn, and I'm going to repurpose an old painting, turning it into a new painting. Alright, come along. Alright folks, here's the painting that I'm going to repurpose and turn into something else. This is something I did here just a while back. It's on a canvas board, but I got some white, and yeah, see, I'll just kind of whatever. I'm just going to put, I'm, I'm going to cover this whole thing in white. Now I'm using acrylic, and one of the things that you need to do, very important, is after you paint each level with acrylic, especially, you need to let it dry before you go on to the next scene or next level. All right, hang tight. You'll see what I'm saying. All right, folks. Whenever I put that white on there and I spread it all out, I didn't put enough, and that made me to see, allowed me to see that this painting is not going to be a barn painting. It's going to be a candle in the window, rainy window painting scene. Right, so I've just got my white acrylic paint brush, pen. Sorry, we'll start right here. We're just going to make a little bit. We're going to do it. Now this paint's dry. That's what I was saying earlier. You got to let each layer dry. And we're just going to put these all over the place, little drops of rain. It's going to turn out to be that way. Hang on. You'll see. All right. Okay. So I've got my raindrops and whatever I think whatever. Some of those drops are pretty thick, and I used an acrylic paint pen just like this. Now I'm going to go back in with black to just every one of them, all those dots. Some of them are still wet, so the ones I know that are dry, like this one here, I'm going to just put some shading on it to make it look like a raindrop. Now, raindrops fall down, so just underneath it, just like that, very gently, very lightly, right, and that's wet, so just gently tap it, right. We'll get back to you, and you'll see what it looks like. We're not done yet. All right, folks. As you can see, everything is finally dry. But here's a little tip for you. Using the acrylic paint pens to make all these dots and raindrops is what they are. But this one here, this big one, you got to pay attention. Sometimes these things will, depending on how much pressure you put down, put out too much paint, which is what that did. But instead of dabbing it right off the bat, what I did was I let it dry to the point where the center was only wet, and I just took my finger, as you can see, and just very lightly dabbed it. And when I did, the moist paint stuck to my finger and left that hole in the center of it, which is exactly what I wanted in the first place. But anyway, all right, we're moving on. Everything's dry. We're going to get to the next level. Raindrops, window, yeah, right, All right, so next I'm going to use a big acrylic pen, paint pen, and just not all over, but just maybe like right here. I don't know, just from the top. Just come down. Right, yeah. And then let it go like that, and then maybe a little bit right there. Over here, maybe right there. Maybe right there. Right here. Okay, we're gonna let that dry. Those are streaks of water. Yep, hang on. Okay, so I've made adjustments to each and every little dot. I actually used the black one on top of the white. You probably can't see it, but just little indications underneath and all around that, shading and all that kind of stuff. But I used white too to make it look. You'll see. Hang on, we're not done yet. All right, so next I'm going to use a big acrylic pen, paint pen, and just not all over, but just maybe like right here. I don't know, just from the top. Just come down. Right, yeah. and then let it go like that, and then maybe a little bit right there. Over here, maybe right there. Maybe right there. Right here. Okay. We're going to let that dry. Those are streaks of water. Yep, hang on. Alright, so we've got the lines drawn in black. That's what I was using. Now I'm going to take a fine tip. White. I'm just doing that to, because when you press down, the suction brings paint into the tip. White acrylic, and just gently make the indication of up. I don't know, that's what I'm saying. But that's okay. Don't worry about it. There was a lot of paint on the end of that whenever I did that. We'll get that. Actually, all you gotta do is just kind of smoosh it like that. Anyway, we'll take care of that. But just barely come down the line on those black. Put some white on the black. Just barely. Like that right there. Try to follow. It don't have to be perfect. Nothing's perfect. Just barely follow those black lines down, because that's the reflection of light off of the water. Right, yeah. Okay. See what I'm talking about? Come on down. You don't have to put a lot. But, yeah. Alright, it's kind of looking a little bit more. We'll get back with you. You'll see. Okay, here we are. And as always, always let each layer dry when you're using acrylic. But, alright, so this is a reflection of a candle in a window from an old painting I repurposed. Okay, so this is, looks like it's supposed to be red. So now here we are. You're looking through the window. You got the raindrops and the streaks and this and that. We're going to use this pen. Make sure we go. Okay. All right. We're going to start the candle. Maybe about right here. And there you go. And we're going to fill this in. We're going to fill the whole thing in. I'll get back to you shortly. Okay, got the candle drawn. I'm going to take an acrylic paint pen with some brown. And just barely, and that paint in that candle is still kind of wet. So what I'm going to do is just barely, gently, just give a little. And then I'm going to take my finger while it's still wet and just gently massage that brown into the candle, because just over here, over there, right, yeah, see, right, and just blend it, and we'll get back with you here shortly, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Right, okay, all right. Okay, I went back over that candle after I added in some shading and little whatever. Can't probably see it, but come back in with my acrylic paint pen and cover back over it, because you always want to work furthest away to closest to you. So this is the candle inside the window of the rain on the window in the background. Right, yeah. Hang on. Okay, so now I've got an acrylic paint pen in orange. And I don't know if you can see that, the little wick, I guess you call it. Everything's dry. You want to make sure everything's dry. What I'm going to do is just gently create that flame. I don't know. Exactly. Color it in. I'm going to color it in. And then here shortly, we are going to move from the pens to the brush, because that's what it's going to take. All right. hang on. Well, I forgot to mention, because this is a window candle painting. We have a reflection because there's a window. So up here, about right here, we're going to put the indication of that reflection of that flame. We're going to color that in. And we're going to do the same. I'm going to do the same for this candle down here. All right, hang on. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, we have the indication of the reflection of the candle. But here's the thing. That flame in the reflection is too bright. It wouldn't quite, well, I mean, it would, but here's what I'm going to do. Some wet tissue paper, and because it's acrylic, it's water-based. I'm going to reduce that brightness of the reflection. Hang tight. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I take my finger, dip it in some clean water, drip it off, whatever you call it, and I'll get back over here, and yeah, you gotta be careful because this is acrylic. It's water-based. Wet finger, firmly pressing, making a little bit of what you said. I'm blending. It's called blending. So with a wet finger, I am blending these. I'm blending and make it look like, well, you see what I'm doing. Right, exactly. I've blended all this, blended all that, and we're going to let that dry. We'll go from there. Okay, we're just about where we need to be. I'm going to take some very dark green and just down here, because this is a window scene. Right, we'll put some right there. We're just going to, yeah, like that. And then we'll come over here. We'll take this brush right here. Hang on. Got all kind of things going on. This brush, yep, it's a moist brush. It's wet. It's got water in it, but I am trying to get a lot of the water out. Now, all that dark green down here, this is a window sill. That's what that is. So, doesn't matter how thick the paint is. All we're doing is creating the illusion of something at the bottom, which would be a windowsill, kind of like that. All right, we're going to let that dry, and we'll get back with you here shortly. All right. All right, back. None of this is really dry. I'll put that dark red and black, but now I've got just some orange, and on a moist brush, and just gently, lightly, just tap in, because that green is still not even dry yet, and just festive, just here and there. Right, but if you get your brush into that thick wet paint of the green, it's not gonna look, well, it's gonna turn to mud is what it is. You want to make sure that everything is, hang on, let me get some more. You want to make sure that everything is dry before you start adding more layers. All right, so okay, we got a little bit of orange going on. All right. Yep. Hang on. And we're just about done. But last thing, it's all been up, but peach pink. I absolutely love this color. And I'm just going to get my brush in there. Let's see. Just like that. Yep. And we're going to come back over here and just lightly, because everything is still wet. Just lightly. Just the corner, not the whole thing. Just here and there. Like that right there. Or you, whichever way you want to do it. Yeah. I mean, hang on. See, see, I know. That just looks, wow. All right, hang on. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, and there you go. I could add more, but let's just leave it there. Have a good one. Subscribe, like, share. Thank you. Merry Christmas.